Welcome back to another glorious day working on the Erector Hudson. You can see where I took the running board off on this side last time and then went off on a lovely vacation in the islands and came back to needing to take the other side off. Of course, by islands I meant Galveston and Pelican. This is on a budget after all. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. First things first, I'll turn this thing around. Thought I'd give you a look at the other side here. So I've had it on my bench facing the other direction most of this time. And just for news, I've gone ahead and I found one of these and one of these. That's the sand dome and the steam dome. So I've sourced those now. Still need a bell. I'm going to see if I can replicate or fix the stand for the bell. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I still need these DT parts. I believe there's a total of 6. I've used here, and then I've gone ahead and purchased some rods right there, and I've purchased a couple more of this part right here. This part is used for the back of the headlight, and I am thinking, I got an extra one, and I'm thinking that I can use the extra one to make the outer little bit of rim that goes on that headlight. Let me see if I can show it to you. See, there's the best picture showing that. Well, it's probably just this. See, there's the steam chest end, which fits in the back, and then there's this little hood thingy here. I'm thinking that if I get another one of those steam chest hoods, I might be able to make the headlight portion out of that, but we shall see. Parts I still need are the cow catcher and the MCB coupling, part CR, and I also need the ash pan, which is that guy right in there that goes up and over, down, catches both of these axles and comes back like that. That's what shape it is. I need one of those. I have not seen one of those for sale anywhere so far, so I may have to manufacture that. And of course I need the bell. Right there. I found those online, but they're kind of expensive. I have not seen a bell hanger anywhere. So I'm probably going to have to fix the one I have. Well, that's kind of my plan of action. On to first things first while I wait for the parts I ordered. Oh, the other part I ordered goes on the front pilot truck. I ordered the piece that goes in there and holds the 2 frame pieces on either side. So that's the part that goes with this. So it's the part that holds both of those 2 together and the axles. And I ordered 4 new axles because the axles that I had were standard Erector axles and not the wider axles, which is what this uses. You can see one right there, a wider axle there. It's much wider than this axle, which is the standard size. And I also found out what these are for. These are apparently used on a fire truck version of the white truck. So that's the other use of the AX axle rod that's over 19 inches long. That's the other use for it. So that's my plan of action. Now back to removing this guy, the running board. Well, we have them off. Okay, now this air cylinder, again, just like the other, it's been painted over. Again, these parts The nickel parts are showing some rust. The other one's cleaned up pretty darn well. I had to run them through the tumbler, ran them through the brass tumbler, cleaned the paint off first, and then ran them through the brass tumbler. And that took the rust off. That's what we're working with there. See again, it's been painted over. The original paint's underneath. Screws are in the right order. Front one again goes through there. Front one of this one goes through there on that rod. And that's what we're dealing with. Now for the cleanup. Here we are, cleaned up now. Air tanks cleaned up pretty nicely. Again, I'm trying not to go through them, so I'm not worrying too much about a little bit of overpaint that had dripped behind these caps. I'm just looking at what's exposed and trying to get a smooth surface. So I don't want to lose any of the original paint if I can help it. But I'm going to reassemble it into its subassembly and set it to one side. One thing about it though is these guys came out a little bit rougher than the other side. There's a little bit of rust on all of them. I can probably pick and choose for the best angle. That one there looks pretty rough. That one looks tolerable on one side. That one pretty rough as well. Well, that's what I'm working with. Of course, when I said put them back together, I meant after I take this guy off. That's what holds the subassembly together. I'm going to remove this guy next, clean him down. I think while I'm at it, removing the running board, I'll go ahead and try to remove these guys. I've already scraped some of the paint out of the screws there. I might even attempt to get over to this guy. I don't know. Let me hold off and do all the silver together. I'll try to get these guys off right now. This is what I see underneath. Okay, the first thing I pulled off was the bell hanger right there. See where the paint kind of traveled in the areas that were raised up around it. You can see the silver underneath. And then here is the back of the stack. See how bright the silver is underneath. It's not this yellowy silver, it's a silvery silver. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and clean up all the hardware on that. I may have to put a little more thought into what I'm going to do on this guy though. We'll see. Okay, well, comes to these guys, bell hanger, it's broken on that side. I think I may make another kind of half duplicate of this to put underneath this and have a hanger arm come up. Just kind of pin it in there with the screw. So that might be the way to fix that if I can't find another one. This guy right here, I just want to document that yes, that is already worn thin around that edge there. I'm going to try to be very careful, but the paint is already chipped and thin on that, around that edge of the stack. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I have the left side running board put back together. This one here is noticeably shinier but rougher looking than the right side. Not sure what that means. Looks like the original paint is shinier but had some surface imperfections. Got the air tanks on the side. Of course those would go in like that. Catch that tab right there and that spot right there. and then those two screws go in the side of the boiler. So I'm going to put that to one side now. Our assemblies section. Now the smokestack, I didn't hardly clean the end at all. I basically just went around the cylinder part and around the flange to clean that up. I figured it can look grubby down inside the smokestack. It's a smokestack. So that's the way I want to leave that now. I want to set this to one side for now, and it will go back onto that assembly. I got kind of ahead of myself there. But I will go ahead and do that. This guy here, the bell hanger, has some thick gloppy paint on it that I think is original thick gloppy paint on it. See that right there? Glob at the end. So anyway, I am going to keep thinking about how I'm going to repair that. I think I'm going to make another tab shaped almost identical to this and put it underneath and come up just past the broken end and make a bell hanger. Here's the screw that goes with it, and I have a nut that is MIA, so kind of like where is Waldo. If you see it running around on my countertop, let me know. So I'm on the lookout for it. Fortunately, I have a few spares. Got the assemblies, sub-assemblies over there, ready to go. One thing of interest, this cylinder is actually pushed in just a little here, right in there. It's not quite level. It's like it probably fell on the smokestack at some point. Not sure if I'll be able to get that out or if that's just part of the character. I'm guessing it's probably going to be part of the character. Let's see. Next thing. I wonder what should be the next thing. Looks like those rods come off with that piston assembly, so these should stay with that. You know, they never actually say when to put these guys on. The stairs show up here, and then I think it's all put together at that point. Yeah, there's the tender. I'm guessing they come in at this point here. So I'm thinking I should probably take these off, maybe the steps, but at least the rails, maybe? Let's see. I just noticed something. The front of the firebox on the boiler there, the silver part, is not in place in this picture. Which means it has to go on after this. Which makes sense because to get to all the nuts on the back of these is going to be a problem unless this is off. But then again, it's got a screw on the bottom here. I might be able to reach all the way up here and undo this one, and then we can get these off and see where we are. We'll see. I have the front running boards off. Turns out that in order to get to this screw, which goes in right there, you have to take off this first, the steps first. Otherwise, as you can see, the steps actually block access to the hole. So the steps come out, and then this can come off. And to hold back up on the nut required me to reach my arm all the way in there to get to that end, which is why my hand looks so nasty. So, yeah, that's a fun one to get to. Got it off both sides, and now we can see the front of the cylinders better. This is the one that I'd cleaned just a little bit, see if they're cleanable. That side looks like it's got a lot of paint on it. And these are bigger ones here. That's interesting. I hadn't realized that until now. Okay. Well, I think I can clean up these guys I don't know how much cleaning I can actually do on this. You see, this side is the side that has overpaint. This is the side that was up against the boiler, just a little bit of overpaint. Steps are completely overpainted. So I may actually just selectively clean that side of all the overpaint and see. We'll see what we do there. I wouldn't be too torn up about it if I couldn't get in there, but I'll try. Maybe I can find a toothbrush or something I can get in there with. These guys I'm hoping will clean up pretty well. Again, just the standard overpaint of the flat stuff. There we go. Here are the cleaned up parts. You can see they're not perfect, but I didn't want to really get into them too hard. I think that's a good enough finish. Screws have all been cleaned. One thing I've noticed, not so much on these, but on other parts, particularly at the back, these little dots. I don't know if they're off-white or they look silver. See, like that one there. They look silver, but they are on top of the black, of the gloss black. They're between, for the most part, these silver ones at least, are between the flat black and the gloss black. These little white ones are on top. Those are probably house paint, I'm guessing, from painting a room. But these silver ones, that's kind of odd. It's like they got some of this silver onto the black, just as little dots here and there. Maybe that's why they painted over this whole thing in flat black. Okay, there are the front running boards. I just loosely attached these steps because you have to put the running board on first, then the step. So they're not really a sub-assembly that go on as one thing. So anyway, I think those are going to work. Yep. Okay, I'm running out of room in my tray. That's what I've got going here. Exciting parts to come, but I think I'm going to call it a night at this point. Thought I'd give you one more fly around and see where we are. Got some more parts on order for the trucks. Got some more parts on order for this part. Found the base of the headlight, but not the full thing. Need a cow catcher still. Missing a couple of screws, nothing big. I think I can figure that out with my spares. Ordered my new axles. For the leading and trailing trucks. Big thing that I need is the trailing truck. I need that part right there. That part right there, which is, let's see what they call it. That is KG ash pan, and that's what it looks like. It's a pretty big part. It's pretty simple too, though. Worst comes to worst, I might have to replicate it. We'll see.